Hi, my name is Mike Thingman. I am a science teacher here at Mount Vernon High School. This year I'm teaching one subject, biology. Usually I'm teaching physical science also. I grew up in Southern California, so I was born in Orange County, the city of Orange. I grew up in Yorba Linda, California, and I have one brother, and that's it. I went to high school at Esperanza High School in Anaheim Hills, California. I did my undergraduate down at the University of California, San Diego. I got my master's in biology and my teaching credential at Western Washington University. I decided to be a teacher, I remember specifically in November of 1999. I come from a family of teachers. Both my parents taught middle school, and my grandparents both taught. My grandmothers both taught, but it was always in the back of my mind. And it wasn't until 1999 that I sort of, hey, this is the direction I'm going to head. I sort of went on a trip to India, and there was a gentleman that I met. He was obviously Indian, and he was a teacher, high school teacher. And I got to talking with him about education and sort of expectations and things like that. And he stayed. He's like, when many people in India leave India, and he wanted to stick around and be a teacher to help young Indians with their education. And I knew, hey, from my family's experience and from what he was telling me, that's something that I really wanted to pursue. What are my goals as a teacher? As a teacher, there's a couple of things that are on my mind when I step into the classroom. One is to make sure that my students feel comfortable, that they feel safe, and sort of building that relationship with students that allow them to be successful in a science classroom. I also like my students to feel that sense of curiosity that science provides. Hey, what is going on in the world around me? What is going on in my body with other people? And sort of spark that curiosity for students to sort of engage in the material. Also, with the threat of climate change, is for people to consider others, and for students to consider others, and hey, a global perspective of how are my actions affecting those of others. What do I like to do in my free time? I have a lot of different interests, and I don't do anything all the time, but I try to sum it up maybe by saying that I like to do anything that involves the outdoors. So staying outside as much as possible, either with my kids or going on a bike ride, a hike down to Clayton Beach, things like that. Mainly with my kids these days, which is awesome. Soccer practices, things like that. I do a lot of house projects. I sometimes enjoy those house projects. I sometimes find them a little bit onerous, but so house projects keep me busy. I do really like to read, so reading is one of those things. My wife says I have an addiction to printed material, which I do, and I love magazines and reading books. Who has impacted my life the most? I'd have to say my dad has impacted my life the most, along with my wife. My dad, he was the one that sort of took us, my brother and I, to sporting events, played a lot of sports growing up, but he sort of showed me the in and outs of being a teacher, of showing respect, and having sort of doing things sort of the quote the right way. So he had a huge influence on me. I think of my wife also because she is a great role model for me, not only because of her personality, which is so level-headed, but also how she treats our kids. And I learn a lot from her of sort of, hey, this is sort of the right way to approach it. This is, hey, maybe not so good way. And I'm always learning from her also. My best memories. I have a couple of them. My wedding was fantastic. The birth of my children was great, a bit traumatic, but I think One of my best memories was when my dad and I, when I was 23, we hiked the John Muir Trail, which goes from Yosemite Valley to Mount Whitney, or back and forth, about 225 miles. And it's a 26-day trip, and I got to spend some really, really great time with my dad in some beautiful country in the Sierras down in California.